Yuval, welcome back to the channel. My name is David. Today we're going to be taking a look at my new favorite telephoto lens, which is the Nikon Z 70-180 f2.8. This lens, along with the 17-28 and 28-75 f2.8, are all part of Nikon's affordable 2.8 zoom trinity. I really like that Nikon's doing this because now they're presenting the users with a lot more options, because let's be real, mirrorless lenses nowadays cost a freaking kidney. You're talking about $2,300 for a 24-70 or almost $3,000 for a 70-200. So having an option to get a 2.8 zoom that is, let's say, half the cost, like this 70-180 is $1,200 or $1,000 if you find it on sale, I think that's great. That's way easier to digest versus spending close to $3,000 on a lens. What makes the 70-180 a unique lens is the compact and lightweight design, especially when you compare it to Nikon's 70-200 2.8S. As always, we're going to be talking about image quality, autofocus performance, and build quality, not in that particular order. And lastly, quick disclaimer, as always, Nikon did not provide any of the equipment shown in this video. I purchased everything with my hard-earned money, and my wallet's out of therapy, so let's see how long I last before I buy stuff this year. So far, it's been about 3 days. Anyways, let's get started with the video. First off, let's talk about the design. The Nikon Z 70-180 f2.8 is remarkably compact and lightweight for a 2.8 zoom with this kind of range. Nikon has managed to keep the overall size and weight down, coming in at less than 6 inches and weighing in at 1.7 pounds or 795 grams. That's roughly half the weight of the Nikon Z 70-200 2.8S, which is about 3 pounds or 1,360 grams. Despite the lightweight design, it is made out of high-quality plastics and it feels very well built. It also sports a knurled control ring, which can be reprogrammed to change settings like your aperture, ISO, and so on. The zoom ring is quite large, easy to grip, and turns very smoothly when zooming in and out. Unlike the 70-200 f2.8S VR, which features internal zooming, this lens features external zooming. Don't worry though, the lens is weather sealed, so you have peace of mind when shooting out in the elements. Another difference between the 70-200 and the 70-180 is that the 70-180 lacks any type of VR, which nowadays isn't really a big deal since most of Nikon's cameras have IBIS. Overall, this lens is well built, lightweight, and it doesn't feel cheap. The 70-180 uses Nikon's STM motor technology, which offers fast, accurate, and smooth autofocus performance. The lens sports an internal focusing design, meaning the lens stays the same size while focusing, so there's no wobble or extension while you're acquiring focus. When paired with the Nikon Z8, the lens has zero issues in acquiring and tracking subjects on a crowded stage using Nikon's 3D tracking, wide area AF, and subject detect, eye detect autofocus. This applies to both photo and video work. Speaking of video, Nikon also says that this lens has suppressed focus breathing, which means you'll get smooth focus transitions from the foreground to the background with very little change to the angle of view. Overall, this lens is a stellar performer with autofocus. Now let's talk about the image quality, because I was very pleasantly surprised by the results from this lens during my recent concert photography gig. The Nikon Z 70-180 2.8 delivers sharp images at all focal lengths and has excellent resolving power when using a Nikon Z8 or Z9. While it lacks some of the special coatings found in the 70-200 f2.8S, the lens formula in the 70-180 is very impressive. It features 1 super ED element and 5 ED elements. These elements work in tandem to significantly reduce chromatic aberrations, color fringing, and help boost clarity and accurate color reproduction. It also utilizes 3 spherical elements that minimize distortion and coma, especially at the wider apertures. Overall, this is a great performing lens in image quality. And that's the video. So here are my thoughts on the 70-180. First and foremost, let's talk about the price point because it's really freaking good. It's $1,200, brand spanking new, and sometimes you could get it for $1,000 on sale. That is significantly way cheaper than Nikon's 70-200 f2.8S VR, which comes in at $2,700 plus taxes and everything. You're looking at a little over $3,000. And that's a lot of money to invest, especially if you don't often shoot in venues that require a 70-200. Case in point, I shoot a lot of live music, but a lot of the venues that I photograph in are small enough where I could get away with a 28-75, 85 millimeter, or even 100 millimeter on the long end. I don't really need that extra reach that you would get with the 70-200. So I don't see a point in investing $3,000 on a lens that I'm gonna use every now and then. But there are times when I have a venue that is significantly larger, like the Dorothy Chandler Music Center in downtown LA, where I'm not gonna be able to be super close to the band on stage, so I need a telephoto lens. And for those kind of like once in a while gigs, spending $1,200 on a 70-180 just makes perfect sense for me to have in my bag. So that said, if you find yourself in a similar situation like myself, where you every now and then find yourself in a large venue, I highly recommend picking up the 70-180. However, if you're a working professional that works in large venues, concerts, and so on, I would probably go with the 70-200 because it is the better lens. You get the better coatings, the VR, all that stuff, and you're a working professional, you're gonna make that money back in a weekend. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, double tap the dislike button twice. Trust me, it works. Subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't done so already for more reviews, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Hasta luego.